Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I want to talk about something. It's a question I get asked very often. I think it's more just out of curiosity, the steps I had to take to become a speaker. I just attended a conference in Las Vegas. It was one of the best conferences. It is so well organized, coordinated. I love the audience. I love meeting new people. I did a workshop on Monday called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And this is where I had the question, how did I get to do what I'm doing today? Because the conference was specific to accounts payable and accounts receivable. But yet here I am on stage teaching you something not related to the industry. So I will give you a brief rundown of how I got started and how I am making this my career.
Hey there, friend. Welcome or welcome back. I'm Monica Brooks, a multi-passionate entrepreneur who at times still has no idea what I'm doing with my life, but I choose to show up and keep going each and every day. I'm a former corporate girl who thrives on leadership, improving my life, and I love talking with people. On this podcast, you'll hear stories from people who will inspire you and challenge you to grow in ways that may feel a little uncomfortable. Whether it's by starting your own business, learning how to fail and fail fast, growing within a company, or maybe even showing a little bit of grit in life, you'll hear from an array of people that will leave you inspired and encouraged. Out of all the podcasts that are available, I'm glad you chose to listen to this episode today. Let's get started.
Okay, so first and foremost, I want to say every opportunity I've had in my life is because I was willing to take a risk. There are steps that have led me to where I'm at today, and all of the pieces fell into place. So if I come to you and say, oh, this opportunity just landed into my lap magically, that is not how it worked. It takes a lot of belief in yourself, getting in front of the right people, and just taking that risk on yourself as well. So if I back up, let's say 6 or 7 years ago, I was at this training event for finance leaders. And I enjoyed it so much because I enjoyed learning. And the person who oversaw that program, she was just a rock star. And I just looked at her in awe. So when they said, we're having one more of these for a new group, if anybody here wants to help out with that, please let me know. And me, I'm a helper. If someone says they need help with something, I'm like, please, I just love it. It makes me feel good. And I get to help you at the same time. So it feels very much like a win-win. I wasn't going there to speak. I was just going there to help with the logistics, getting things set up ahead of time, breaking down, setting up tables, passing out papers. It was just very basic. But I was like, yeah, sign me up. Okay, so the next group of people come the next week, and I'm now there as a helper. The rock star facilitator was there. I'm sitting at the table after setting up, and she comes up to me and she's just like, so like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? What's your interest? And I just said, I love helping, but that I also enjoy speaking, because that is the truth. I've always enjoyed not just speaking itself, but inspiring people. I love planting seeds. I love seeing those light bulbs go off. I love seeing the head nods. I just love making a difference in people's lives.
And you know what she asked me? She asked me if I wanted to go up there and teach the next section.
And like any normal-minded person, I said no. There was no way. She was amazing. I was not amazing. At least I felt that way. And so I was like, no, thank you. And then I kind of sit there after a while and I'm thinking like, oh my goodness, Rockstar Facilitator just asked me to teach. I had just gone over the information the previous week as an attendee. So I knew the material. So about 5 minutes passed and I was like, you know what?
I will do it. I will teach the next section. And so I got up there. It was a blur, but I remember feeling so good that I did it.
And she told me I did a great job. I don't know if she was just being polite, but she said I did a great job. And so she said that she's starting this program within the company for leaders to teach leaders, and asked if I wanted to be a part of it. I was like, oh my goodness. Yes, absolutely. I was so excited. It was information from Franklin Covey. It's where I learned the material, the 7 habits of highly effective people. And that is what really launched me in that organization into speaking more. Granted, I still do accounts payable. Literally, my job is to oversee a department that pays bills. And here I was being able to be a part of the learning department while still having my current role. That's what got me into facilitation. I had to take that risk. I had to believe in myself, and I just had to do it. So this program launched at this organization. I got to partner with so many amazing people. One of them, Jason Daly, who's on the podcast. I interviewed him with Anchored Leadership. He was amazing. I've learned from him. He's helped me with my skills. So I thrived in that atmosphere of teaching other people. Fast forward again. I'm at a conference and I'm like, I think this conference could really benefit from some of the material I have or ways that I've led my accounts payable team. So I'm at this conference and I'm like, I'm just going to look for somebody in charge. And I spotted her right away. And so I went up to her and I was like, hey, I'm Monica Brooks. Are you ever in the need of new speakers? And she's like, yes, we are. So there was another opportunity where I took a risk. I believed in myself and I had to go up to a complete stranger in order to find out if there were speaking opportunities. And the next conference, I was able to be one of their speakers with my director. And we had, well, I had such a good time. My director isn't as excited and eager as I am about public speaking, but as a combination, we nailed it. So that was November 2018. The very next day, I knew I was flying home and having my port put in to begin my cancer treatments. So the next few years, I was in treatment. I was trying to find my new normal. And then COVID happened in 2020. And I was at this point in my career where I was just getting tired. I didn't have the passion I used to for what I was doing. And I joke about this, but it's the absolute truth. After the pandemic, or like kind of like mid, they started having leaders go back into the office. And that's when I realized I didn't like being told what to do. So I went back into the office reluctantly. I mean, I still had a really good attitude. I was still doing the work, but I did not want to go back into the office. I didn't want to commute anymore. And I was in this meeting with VPs talking about the system implementation. And that's when I realized I don't belong here, because I literally said to myself, I don't care about this stuff. And it was true. I knew I cared about people. I didn't care about the job itself, but give me a person to develop, give me a person to inspire, give me a person to coach. I could do that all the time. So I literally left that meeting with those VPs. I called my director and I was like, I have to go. And she had already known like I wasn't really like loving my job anymore. So she was so supportive. But here's what I did that I do not recommend. You can learn from me. I did not have a plan. I did not have a plan when I quit my job of what I was going to do. I just knew I had to go. I'm very fortunate in that my husband can support us, but that was also very hard because I had a great career. I was a leader in a large healthcare organization, and I was basically saying goodbye comfort, goodbye new pair of shoes, goodbye vacations, different times of the year. I knew it was going to be different, but I believed in myself.
Am I making the same amount of money? No, I am not. Am I traveling? Yes, I am. Am I happier? Absolutely.
Before I left my job, I sent an email to the conference manager. I hadn't been there since my diagnosis, so it'd been a few years. And I said, hey, I'm leaving, but if you ever need a speaker, please reach out. I was shocked when she reached out. And maybe I shouldn't have been, but I was like, oh my goodness, like I have a message from her and she invited me to be a speaker. And I was like thrilled. And so that's how I got into this. And sometimes people will ask like, well, do you put your name out there? Do you contact people? I will tell you, yes, at times I do reach out to people. However, I do not beg. I do not chase. I truly feel like I attract.
And I don't mean that in like an overconfident way,
But I've heard before, oh, don't chase, attract. There's a really fine line to that because you just don't expect things to land in your lap. You do have to put forth effort, and the right people will be attracted to you. So I've been able to speak in Toronto, Philadelphia, Indiana, Florida, Las Vegas, San Antonio, um, since I've left. And I am so proud of myself, but it did not come without the risk. It did not come without believing in myself. I know this is not the end for me. I feel like I want to continue to grow. I want to continue to travel. I want to continue to get my name out there. And that's what I'm working on right now. So if you're interested in being a speaker, my question is, who do you know? And maybe it's me. I love helping other people. Like I said, if you're a speaker or you're like wanting to tap into this, reach out to me. I may not have like a solution, but it's like, hey, ultimately what I think would be amazing to do is to get a pool of speakers and to like help these people find places to speak and to use their talent, because I know so many amazing people, like people who have helped me. People who are close to me are some of the best speakers I have ever met. And it's not that they're great speakers. They are inspirers. They are empowerers. Like they help you become better people. So I think that's probably something down the road I definitely want to explore, because there's so much talent out there that is untapped. So in a nutshell, that is how I became a speaker: believing in myself, not giving up, and to continue to keep growing. What you are building today and what you are doing today will no doubt help you in the future. I hope this was helpful to you. Feel free to drop me an email, monica@monicabrooks.com. You can follow me on Instagram, Leadership with Monica, and I hope to hear from you. That's it for today.